up. So, Mike now. Fresh. So, right. So. How we doing? How we doing? What's going on? Hope everyone's doing well. Right now, no trades so far. We've done this one this morning. So far, waiting for more trades to come out. Morning, how we doing? Right now we're just basically just going ahead and announcing everything to everyone that we are live on all platforms. And then once we get into it, we will see exactly, you know, basically what we're dealing with today. Of course, we've got a massive gap on gold. Yes, brother. How we doing? Good morning. Good morning. How we doing, man? You back to the UK yet, or you're still traveling amazing Asia? Quickly announcing, ladies and gents. Make sure that you will get yourself in the VIP group. I'm gonna post the links there in a minute for the streams. You know, you're back to the UK now, yeah? I bet you're glad you're back, huh? Man. Oh, bro, I'm gonna. If you're back, then I'll give you a shout later on. Let me know what good time for you. Got loads to catch up on, bro. Got some good news as well. Yeah, it's like, bro, six things, man. Oh, good luck, bro. Good luck, man. Trust me, the streams are easy, man. You just gotta sit there and just talk loads of words. Sometimes doesn't even make sense. You just do it, you know, just trade. And the way I done it, my first stream was as I was just teaching myself basically how to trade. You know, that's how I done it. So yeah, that's what I recommend. But best of luck. Let me know if you want any tips as well. Right, so wait for the next entry on market. Have a look. Right. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're going to break down the chart just in a second. Just in it. Oh. Yes, bro, 100%, man. What a start to the week, huh? PP4 straight away this morning. It's really good, really good. Joe, how we doing, my brother? Hope you're well. Sorry, I just see your comment right now. I'm just quickly giving it a share. Ladies and gents, make sure you give myself a nice little share and like and a subscribe and all of the above. Because we're taking over. I'm telling you, ladies and gents. What we got in store for you lot is unbelievable. Trust me, the updates, we had an amazing, we had a really good meeting yesterday with the whole team. You know, everyone who's behind scenes of our group and everything else. And let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, what we have coming out is honestly going to change the game in this of trading. You know, how you basically receive the trades, how you do this, how you do that. Honestly, ladies and gents, it's going to be absolutely historical for what we have in store. And the best of all is for the individuals who are involved in our VIP group, you get everything for free. You don't have to pay a penny for any of it. How good is that? Right, everything's set up. All the links are there. Lovely. Want to make a quick question. When you take a trade, do you take more than one trade? Like your entry isn't great, but any other great, you would take another entry. Only reason I ask is because I tried it, but then it went SL. Was hit. I then ended up taking a bigger hit. Great question, Bertie. So basically, you're asking basically about layering trades, right? So let me break it down to you. So let me just remove all the drawings, fresh chart, the right vantage one. There we go. So let me break down what I did this morning. Okay, so let's say we received a selling position, right, on gold, right? Our entries were literally between 03 and 07, right? So that, you know, that 50 pip range, right? Basically, yeah, 40, 50 pip range. And when we received that trade, which I'm actually going to stick it on here because I haven't even had a chance yet to put it on. I had, let me tell you what, like, I had 2 entries on that trade. I was about to get a third one, but what kind of threw me off was the massive gap above, right? And I'm selling, you know, against that gap, basically. So, you know, to myself, I was just like, oh, okay, right, like, let me not try to force the market. Don't get me wrong, the market dipped down, you know, TV5, I believe now. I mean, that market, yeah, I mean, it's at the lowest went to 86. Our TV5 was 90. You know, so I could have held an extra trade here, but I only entered 2 trades. But because of that, obviously, I didn't, you know, I didn't prolong any TPs. So my first entry, right, was 03.8. Sorry, 03.33, right? So my first entry was right there. Okay, then I waited. As soon as the market went up almost 10 pips, I entered another entry, right? At around like the 04 mark. Okay. So I had 2 entries in. Then I looked at the market and I said this morning to myself, as soon as I woke up, I was like, okay, do you know what? Let me just put 2 entries in, right? Put one to TP1, the other one to TP2, basically. 98 with my TP2. So I just took this morning straight away, right? What was that like? First, basically 30 pips. Yeah, so we've done about 74 pips this morning, right? As soon as I woke up, right? And I'm happy with that because at the end of the day, like I always say, I like to begin my first trade with a win. You know what I'm saying? So I then, the way I trade, I lowered my lot size so I can take multiple positions, right, amongst the signal. So instead of me basically being like I'm over leveraging, if I have more than 3 positions on, you basically lower your lot size depending on your account. So if you got, for example, like if you got a £1,000 account, I probably recommend going 0. And again, this is all about your risk tolerance. My risk tolerance is a little bit higher. Obviously, I can handle, you know, having, you know, 10-20% drawdown, only because it's a little account. You know, on a smaller account, you have to take a little bit of a higher risk factor. Again, that's just from my point of view. It's because if you have a £1,000 account and you make, I don't know, 5% on it, yeah, so make £5, right? You're not going to be happy with it. That makes sense. So you're going to make £50 on it. You're not going to be happy overall. You know, you're going to keep chasing the market because £50, you're going to compare it to what you make at work. Let's say, I don't know, you make £200 a day at work. You're going to say, oh, that's only 1/4, you know, that's 1/4 of what I make at work. So I always say, like, for a £1,000 account, you should theoretically do 0.01 per 1,000 accounts. Okay? But for me, I personally would do 0.05. That's only if you got good experience in the markets. And you want to do that 3 times. So 0.05, 3 times equals 0.15. So you're essentially risking between 15 to 20% of your account in each trade. The reason why I say that is because we have a very high accuracy on trades, between 85 to 90% on all trades. So because of that, by the way I trade, because of the signals and my experience, combine that all into one, I can afford to take a 15 or 20% loss on each trade. Very rarely do we take 2 stop losses in a row, right? Most of the time, you know, TB1, TB2 gets hit very, very accurately. Like this morning, we woke up, TB5 was done. You know, so it's really good. It's really good the way, you know, you can trade. But again, you just have to, if your like risk tolerance is small, you then need to make sure that you're risking way less. You can literally start with 0.01 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So you can then, overall, you're risking 0.03 on all 3 trades, but your first trade will be, you know, let's say they're all 10 pips apart. First trade is 100 pips, second trade is 90 pips, your third trade is 80 pip SL, right? Which that you got, what, that's about 250 pips you're risking. And then, yeah, you can have, straight away, you can have a negative risk to reward in your first TP. But then, as soon as you go to TP1, I will always reduce my worst trade and half it. So my second trade will be 90 pips stop loss. I then reduce that risk to 45 pips. My third trade was 80 pips. I reduced that to 40 pips. So then overall now, I literally, you know, basically half my risk, and then I aim for that TB2, TB3. TB2 is usually 50 pips, TB3 might be 70 pips, right? So like, you can kind of see if the market moves in our favor, which majority of the time it does. You know, you can actually then, you know, play about with reducing your risk as fast as possible, and then as the market moves into your favor, you know, you take out one trade at 30 pips, second at 50 pips, third trade at 70 pips. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's the best way it works, for me personally. Hopefully, ladies and gents, that makes sense. And Bertie, that answers your question, brother. Sorry, I can't speak. I have to. I'm just warming up. This morning because I am literally. I'm still half asleep, if I'm honest. I had a very up and down night. Don't know why. I slept really good, but the dog kept waking me up. Every couple of hours, the dog kept waking me up. He woke up, and then he started scratching this carpet. Then he was like barking for the night because he I think he had a dream, bless him. Yeah, I just feel really, really exhausted. But other than that, I feel good. Great. started with a decent lot size, then you put another lot size. Well, the thing is, what's a decent lot size? A decent lot size is like 10 lots. That's a really decent. But the thing is, it's like, you know, the lot size, ladies and gents, don't be too fixated on a lot size. If you feel like you want to go higher, put an extra trade on at a better entry. Again, you're not going to always get it, right? You're not always going to go ahead and get that better lot size, you know, and better entry, for example. But believe me, that extra entry will always, you know, make you the most money, you know. But yeah, 2K account, 0.15, yeah. So 2K accounts, that's what I would do, bro. So I would split that, put 0.05, right, but enter 3 to 4 trades per signal. You know what I'm saying? So just get in a habit of entering 3 to 4 times straight away, banging in. You know, your first trade is generic 80 to 100 stop loss. And then obviously, you know, first trade is your worst trade, aim for TP1. Second trade, aim for TP2. Third trade for TP3. And if you've got a fourth trade, you really leave that as a runner. So that goes TP5 and beyond. And that TP5 trade, you basically either put that TP5 on there, but you keep the TP open. And what you do, you put your stop loss, you follow up the trade with about 100 pip trailing stop loss. That's what I'd personally do. Anyway, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's now mark up the chart, ladies and gents. This will be what we've been waiting for. So right now, again, let's just do the first trade that we've done. The breakdown, obviously, the trade actually went to 90, which was a TP5 trade in the group. So I'm going to count now the TP5 because majority of you would have held that trade to TP5. Our initial stop loss was 811. Okay, so TP5 was hit. TP5. What's how many pips is it? That's about 130 pips from where I entered from. Okay, so that's that. Right, next thing we want to do straight away, ladies and gents. Obviously, Asian session is still basically cross countering with London session, so we will put our indicator now on where you can see Asia low, Asia high off the market. Okay, so as we can see, we're going to put a horizontal ray, Asia high, and an Asia low. Right, take that indicator off now. We don't need that anymore, and we'll just put our AH and AL, right, for Asia low. But now we know when we're going to be trading throughout the London. Yes, you can't see my screen on TikTok, ladies and gents, whoever's on TikTok, because TikTok bans people now from showing their charts. Put this way, TikTok doesn't like people, you know, showing them trades and all this stuff now. So make sure, hit the link in the bio, get inside of my VIP group, and in there there's 2 links. Link to my YouTube, and there's a link to my kick as well, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so we can see the chart on there clearly. You can see everything I'm doing, but there's no hidden things. So yeah, make sure you're in there. So back to Asia low, Asia high, right? So we can see the range, about 650 pip range. Next thing we want to do is for the recent support and resistances, right? We go on the 4-hour chart, we get our horizontal line, and then basically of most candles, top and bottom, we basically mark out red horizontal lines. So basically, you can then see exactly where the market's been. You know, you want to get basically the wicks, okay, the wicks, the tops, double tops, the fair value gap. So we've got the start of the fair value gap here. We've got the finish of the fair value gap over there. That massive gap that everyone's looking to close off. Obviously, gold absolutely gapped insanely. We've got some targets above. We've got some targets below. Because believe me, honestly, ladies and gents, you will see that when we trade, right, you will see that sometimes the market responds just to random areas, but they're never random, right? They're never random. Most of the, you know, the charts that you see and the price rejections come from these like 4-hour zones. You can even go to the daily, right, and then mark out the daily low and daily high of previous days. Not gonna do that because it's Monday today, but Tuesday, Wednesday, I might potentially do that just to see, you know, what we closed out on. And then we return to the 5-minute, refresh the charts, and straight away you can see now, okay, that we have now, you know, a good little base of market. But even when I enter this trade, for example, right, and I thought if I would have known that I can see that there is, you know, a pretty decent zone on a 4-hour chart at the 7, 8, 9 level, you know, I would have let at least one trade run to that level, because you can see that, you know, it kind of run to that level, and then, you know, because it's a 4-hour zone, you got to think that line, horizontal line, is actually a zone, right? So, you know, the zone is pretty much looks something like this, right, on that 4-hour, right? So that's probably like, what's that, like a 40 pip, about 40 pip zone, right? So we know that next trade, if we, for example, if we go for a buy, we know we want to aim obviously for TP1, TP2. If we have a third trade would definitely go to that 07 level. And fourth trade, if we go in a direction, we want to aim for the Asia high. Same thing, if we go for, I mean, Asia low is quite some distance away, but if we do obviously sell, we know that, you know, we got now a target of 84, for example. Then we've got another target of 75, which, funny enough, look, on the 5-minute, almost the perfect closure, right, of that fair value gap on the 5-minute, which hasn't been claimed yet fully. And there's another zone at 67. So it all depends whether we buy, whether we sell. So we're just going to wait for the next signal to come out. But hopefully that makes a lot of sense, ladies. I'm telling you, I'm super excited. Like, you know, I'm trying my best just to keep as neutral as I can, you know, without obviously getting too excited, obviously, because in trading emotions are bad. So I'm trying my best just to keep very, very neutral with the market as well. But honestly, ladies and gents, whoever is in our VIP group, what we have coming out very, very soon is going to change the whole entire industry in trading and taking trades and receiving signals inside of our industry. Like, no one else has this. And ladies and gents, whoever is basically going to be inside of your IP group, you will know what I'm talking about very, very soon about what's coming out. Honestly, I'm so excited. Yesterday we had a very, very productive meeting about this, by an hour. And ladies and gents, it might be because the reason why I couldn't sleep last night, because I was so excited. Off the call, we got off the call about 9 p.m. Honestly, Bertie, bro, you're in for a treat. This will honestly help every trader to trade. Honestly, like, honestly, I wish I could give out more details, but at this current moment, everything is pretty much done, all developed. It's just in the, you know, it's basically now in, you know, kind of like it's actually like being tested now, and we saw the base of it. So yeah, I'm super excited. And how we know, restriction on TikTok once again, mate. What is up with TikTok? What do I say? What do you think, ladies and gents? Anyone who's watching me on TikTok right now, I've got 7 viewers there. you know, I've got several viewers on Kick and several on YouTube. What do you think that is, ladies and gentlemen? What do I say? I don't swear anymore, really. Right? I don't show my trades anymore. What is it? Huh? Crazy. Make sure, ladies and gents, spam the likes on TikTok, please. Really, really appreciate it. I believe when you get 10,000 likes, not gonna lie, there's gonna be some 6-packs growing on a couple of people's bums. But if we get to 10,000 likes, I think we get restricted, and then obviously again we can, you know, continue basically showing what we're doing as well. I take it I could probably show my chart, to be. Suppose it's not a bad shout. I'm going to wait and see if my appeal to my restriction, because again I have no idea why I keep getting restricted on TikTok. I do nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, as we wait for the next trade to appear for us, again, we're not going to rush anything. Obviously, we're following our gold standing group. You know, last Friday, we done a mistake of basically going in for taking trades from both groups, because one group, obviously, you know, it's a little bit slower. But I think personally, that's where I went wrong. And I had a losing day Friday. Ladies. I had a profit on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All 4 days, ladies and gents, back to back, profit after profit, right? Friday comes around. I trade, and I remember this. The mistake I've done. I went on our other group, which is obviously zones analysis. And it happened to be the zone I have taken happened to be the one that went into stop loss. Then the next trade on pardon me, I got a bit of water. The next trade I took from the gold standard was a win. But because I took a loss prior to that and then I win, I pretty much just broken even on the series of 2 trades. And then I'm like sitting there, I'm thinking, damn, my impatience have cost me now not to have a profitable day, because I kept on sort of back, you know, trading from both groups, really. This is the most important thing, ladies. You have to stick to one group, right? One group. Of course, we've got 2 groups, ladies and gents, for a reason, because some individuals prefer the lowest pace of trading. That's me. I like to enter a trade, wait a little while, right, and take out my TP1, TP4, TP1000, right? I like to do that because I can see more of what's happening inside of the market. I can see, you know, getting a little bit more in tune with price action. Our other group is great for scalping, right? You have to be satisfied with 30 pip, 40 pip gains, in and out constantly. And don't get me wrong, it works for a lot of individuals. Works because they're the ones who like to layer, you know, 5-10 trades. Still within obviously risk management. So if you're normally taking, I don't know, 0.1 per trade, you would tend to take, I don't know, 10 trades, 0.01, right? The smallest lot size, 10 times, right? A zone. As soon as the trades go all into profit, boom, just bulk operations, MT5, take it all out. You know, so of course, you know, a lot of the ways works for individuals. For me, I like to enter 1, 2, 3 trades, right? Aim for TB1, second trade for TB2, third trade either for TB5 or just looking at the market structure, depending obviously on how, you know, how the market is looking, basically. You know? So that's what we sort of look for. Side of the market. So yeah, hopefully that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, super excited, man. I mean, this is going to be another great week. We've literally got, I mean, crazy, that's 20th of April already. We literally got this week and next week really of the trading days left this month, and yes, it's looking like it's going to be another record month for myself trading wise. So it's amazing. Honestly, I'm over the moon, but at the same time, I'm keeping very, very humble, but also, you know, kind of not pretend. We don't want to pretend, but we want to also like think about while we do what we do. You know, we do everything because, like, for example, yesterday, I'll tell you a quick little story, ladies and gents. I had a, you know, catched up with my mum. You know, she's doing great, but she said, oh, you know, our dishwasher's packed up. I'm like, oh, okay, right, okay. And she's like, yeah, you know, and obviously I wish I could just buy a new one. And I was like, Mum, that's fine. Like, let me buy a new one. And literally within 5 minutes, I found exactly the same one I've got. I've got, like, you know, I'm getting old because I'm like, I've got a sick dishwasher, right? Wi-Fi connected and all this stuff, and you know, it opens up, you know, once it finishes, like it self-dries itself and all this stuff, right? And it's got a little light in it, right? You know what I'm saying? It's really exciting, right? I mean, it's a dishwasher. But within an instant, I just bought it for my mum. You know, it's gonna basically arrive now Wednesday. And then after, I kind of noticed, it kind of clicked in. I was like, wow. I was like, a year ago, I would have struggled to buy a brand new dishwasher spontaneously. Bear in mind, I've already spent money. You know, we went out shopping, bought this, bought that. Like, you know, I've done some investments over the weekend. So money's just been going out, right? And like basically in an instant, I was like, yeah, bought a new dishwasher for my mum. And after that, I quickly then went ahead and then had a little moment, just sitting in the garden in the sun. And I was like, wow. I was like, how life has changed. These like little things that I can now buy or purchase for other people to help them, my family members, this is whoever. Well, without even thinking about it. Does that make sense? And it might sound really weird, but it's honestly such a relief that kind of pair yourself up a year ago, 2 years ago, where you was in your life. And honestly, ladies and gents, it's been now a year since I've been working with, right? And it's been like the best year, best last 12 months of my life ever. And it's honestly ridiculous how your life can change just by being with the right people, talking with the right conversations, thinking in the right way, and just trading without desperation. You know, because I think most of us, we trade trying to force the profits, trying to gain the most out of the market every time we trade. And I have prime example of this. Like, I believe it was like a little around 3-4 weeks ago. Pro football. I had a pro football Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. The only losing day I had was, I believe, was Wednesday, right? And why was it? Right? Why was it that I lost on Wednesday? Because I remember clear as day on my live, I said, you know what, ladies and gents, going from Monday and Tuesday, I noticed there's like 2 or 3 trades that I've done that I went about 600 pips, but yet I only went and done 70 pips. I took it out like TV2. Well, if I would have held that trade, it would have went like 600 pips. I changed my game plan, and then I remember for the majority of the day, every trade I took, I was 100, 150 pips in profit, not taking out trades. Then I went to stop loss after for me. Then I would go back in, another trade, 100 pip in, you know. So, like, it's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy how when you change what works, you then get a different result. But then I was like, why have I changed? How much to join your team, please? Very good question. and to your benefit, it's free, right? So our group is free, ladies and gents. There's no monthly subscriptions, upfront costs. Only thing you have to do is fund your own account, your own money for our broker. You know, we have a great relationship with our broker. We've worked with them for a long time. I personally have done now, I think, 71 withdrawals from Vantage, and never have I had a problem. For the last 12 months, ladies and gents, I can literally get this up after about 71, 72 withdrawals from Vantage. I've never had a problem. And no matter how big or small as well, it's nice, you know, because sometimes the bigger withdrawals, sometimes, you know, brokers don't like you withdrawing big amounts of money, so they might look into it and see everything. But no, for me, everything's legit. So the link is in the bio, Tuck. So basically, in a bio, click the link, and then in there, open a browser, the three little dots, and then get inside of the VIP group, and then you basically then receive the chance to like get into the automated sign up system, and then after that gets connected to a real person. We have about 26 members of staff on the back end to answer any questions and stuff like that. And soon we have even better things, because we have like really exciting bits coming out very soon, which I can't talk too much about, but trust me, it's something that costs a lot of money. My business partner has personally invested out of his own pocket to make it even better, so it's crazy. How many signals do you send out a day? Very good question. So we at the moment have two groups, right, run by the same trader, but one is more scalping focused, one is more, you know, basically focused on like gaining as much from the move, right? A little bit slower pace. So first, the slower group that I'm trading with currently right now, that I use most of the time, there's about 5 to 7 trades on average. Sometimes there's 10, sometimes there's 4. All depends on the market condition. But they're more slower pace. Like for this morning, like I show you here, look, took a trade this morning. Now it went to TP5 this morning. That straight away, you know, like. So we send out a few. With that as well, you get one to two calls per week, right? So these calls are focused on basically, well, one's mindset. So normally Monday or Tuesday, you have mindset calls. My business partner does a mindset call. Very important to keep your mindset very healthy throughout trading, because trading it's not just about making money. It's about yourself, about your ego. So you learn a lot about your mindset techniques, and then your psychology improves. And then later on, throughout the week, we also have a trading call. Whether it's Thursday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, one of the days there's also a trading call. So you know, we basically have a call where, you know, you're basically going ahead, and you can learn a lot from, you know, about the trades, how to take them, and that stuff. So you get a lot of stuff for free. I'll be honest. And I've been involved in different companies before where, you know, you got to pay a monthly subscription, or there's a sign-up cost to the group. Here, you don't have none of that. Before, you know, thinking about it, if you're paying for education, so I've been in companies where you had to pay a monthly subscription. So, you know, the sign-up fee was about £300 and then about £150 a month. So straight off the bat, you're paying about, I don't know, let's say £1,600 a year, right? If you're in that group. On top, you'd have to deposit your own money and then make profit to actually make something back. But I never understood that, right? I thought, gee, I'm paying all this money, and though I'm paying a lot for my education, I can't afford then to pay out for my trading account. This is like years ago when I started. Like this is like 7 years ago. And when I traded, I could only afford investing like £50 or £100 in trading accounts. And then before I knew, I was blowing them accounts because I'm trying to now make back at least a monthly subscription to break even. You see what I'm saying? So it makes it very difficult. Then I also was involved in, you know, signal groups where, you know, there's a sign-up cost. I think one of the ones I was in, shocking results. Like, honestly, like 30% accuracy in all trades. And that was a £500 entry fee for lifetime, you know, like lifetime access. And honestly, ladies and gents, like, think about it. 30% accuracy on all 10 trades. 7 of them will hit stop loss. So I paid 500 quid and then blew my account. 7 trades, realistically speaking, like, you know, it's hard. It's hard to not take a photo account of 7 stop losses in a row when you've got a small account. This is also going back a few years back. But now, obviously, I learned that the size of account you have to have in the beginning, you have to take, you can be able to take at least 20 stop losses in a row. That's a healthy size account for a risk factor, you know, and not size of you. So that's what I'd say. You have indicator for us to use. Right now, I'm paying 100. I paid 100 just for an indicator. Really? Yeah. I don't believe indicators. Do I use indicators? Yes. But I use indicators just for me to see what I might miss to the naked eye. For example, ladies and gents, I'll show you quickly on my thingy here, right? So this is my chart at the moment. I use 3 indicators, but one of them I use for about literally 30 seconds, which is the sessions one. Right? It just shows you where how big the session was on New York, or how big the session is in, you know, Tokyo or London session, whatever, right? Then the majority of the time I the fair value gap one. That just shows me the fair value gap one. It shows me where all the imbalances are in the market. Occasionally I use the order block one, where it shows me the order blocks. Like right now you can see, look, this order block, that rejected, that could have been a buying position. This order block could have been a buying position. If it goes up to there, it could be a selling position. So, like, again, remember, every indicator tells you what has happened, not what is going to happen. And based off what has happened, then you can determine yourself what possibly outcome is going to happen next. Talk about predictions of indicators, right? But they're all bullshit. I'll be honest. Can't convince me. There's not an indicator that will constantly accurately, you know, like give you an outcome of what the market's going to do next. You could only try to predict based on what bullshit, you know, data that lagging indicator is going to give you. You know what I'm saying? There is a couple of ones that are not too bad, but again, wouldn't put my trust in an indicator. Have I ate? No, I haven't. I had a coffee and I had a water. So far I'm feeling good. We're going to see how we feel. But we're going to stream for another hour, then jump down and go for breakfast. But yeah, monthly subscription, paying over, you know, what are you paying about? It's over £1,700 a year for an indicator. That's ludicrous. That is shocking. I would never do that, bro. Crazy. Hopefully that answers your questions as well. But yeah, for our group, we don't teach to use indicators. We just teach you how to take the trades that we send out, which are majority of the time 85 to 90% accurate. You know? But yeah, but to answer your question, Dappy, I've eaten 100 some pips this morning, so I suppose I've had a good trade, and now we're currently waiting for the next trade to happen right now, as market is starting to develop a little bit of market structure. Again, I know a lot of people will be chasing right now that, you know, fulfillment of that fair value gap we have from yesterday's open. I mean, yesterday's open, ladies and gents, that was huge. Massive open. I mean, think about it. The market went from basically 8:30. So straight off the bat, it had, I think when it opened, the body of the candle opened here. That's 570 pip gap straight off the bat. So imagine anyone who was in buys, mates, rest in peace to your accounts. And then the market dropped all the way down, I mean, nearly £1,000, and then retraced back down, up again, almost like 750 pips, like crazy, like mental. But we have our Asia high and Asia low, obviously marked out. So whether we take the next signal, obviously, again, we're gonna wait for the next trade to come to us. Wait for the trader to give us, you know, the source. Don't chase. You know, so, you know, the important thing to realize as well is, you know, one thing actually we didn't check. I just realized we didn't check the news. My apologies. We didn't check the news. So today news, there's only volatile news for Canadian dollar around 1/2. So that shouldn't really impact gold too much. Because obviously dominant one is the US dollar, right? That's the only thing really that moves the market. And Trump speak. Tomorrow we got a bit of red folders coming up. You got the oh, okay. But tomorrow 3 p.m. Okay, Tuesday's might be a bit of a volatile day. Got the Fed chairman. So Governor February. Yeah, we're gonna have some volatile news tomorrow at 3 p.m. For that, we've got retail sales, poor retail sales, so that can all affect the market, especially gold, in a specific way. Tomorrow we gotta watch out for New York. Of course, you know, anyone who's been trading it for a while, you know that we don't really like to trade New York anyway. So yeah. Also, anyone trading, ladies and gents, make sure that if you can, you know, have a similar setup that I do. So have your Telegram open on your computer, and then obviously your chart, and then your phone here, so you can see what's happening if you can. That's the preferable, you know, scenario for you to get better at trading. Also, you know, the computer Telegram has about 1 to 2 seconds quicker response than my phone. Sometimes I see a trade come up, by the time I've entered a trade, put my stop loss in, and then it goes through my phone. Okay, so bear that in mind as well. And make sure that you are in the VIP group, because there's a delay on the streams. By the time I take a trade, because I'll see it, and then there'll probably be like, I think there's about 5-second delay on the YouTube stream, and the Kick, and the TikTok. So make sure, ladies and gents, that you are inside of the VIP group so you can see trades firsthand. Okay. But currently we are just attracting next trade right now. There could be a possible sell loading up, but at the same time, you know, just because we're so close to that Asian high, I do want to jump in for a buy. I was hoping the trader was going to, you know, pump out a buy, hit somewhere here, but clearly the market didn't go far enough for us to enter a buy position. So for this moment, we just got to hang about, you know, and just see what will cook up right now, you know. But yeah, let's have a look. Let me know also if any questions about everything, and yeah, let me know what's everyone been up to on the weekend. Let me know. Everyone had a good weekend. Has it been a productive one? Has it been an annoying one? Like I said this last Friday. I used to absolutely love weekends, and I still kind of do. But recently, I've really just, I don't know, I get a little bit, not depressed. It's a bad word to use, but I get very discouraged that it's the weekend, because I'm like, the markets are closed. What am I going to do with myself? You know, so I tend to have a little lay-in. I wake up, get out of bed probably at 8, half 8. And then by the time I get going, and I do a couple of things throughout the day, and look at the time, it's like 3 p.m. I'm like, damn, like how on earth is it 3 p.m. already? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's beyond me. But look at this, ladies and gents. Just going back to one of our indicators here, the order block one. The blue ones, that's an order. That's basically a buying order block that you would have had here. So again, that could have been a buying position at that level. Wish that the trader actually called this one out, but gotta stay consistent, you know, to actually copying. You know, like I say, I never really consider myself a trader. I think being called a trader, you have to earn that title. It's like calling yourself a fighter just because you train martial arts. You know, you're not a fighter. It's like what I've done. You know, I've been training before, Thai boxing, Muay Thai for about like on and off for like 6-7 years. Been a long time. And do I call myself a fighter? No. I never had an amateur or semi-pro fight in my life, you know, so I can't claim that title because I spar with fighters, just because I train, or do I call myself a bodybuilder just because I go and train and hit weights? No. You know, so you know, I don't call myself a trader for that reasons, because I haven't earned a title to do so. But do I make money from trading? Yes. Do I copy a professional trader? Yes. Am I good at it? No. No, I'm not too bad actually. I'm definitely improving. Like I said, I keep it very transparent. Do I take losses still? Yes. Do I take a stop loss? Yes. Have I got better with trading? Yes. You know, like, that's the question sometimes you have to ask yourself. It's the journey. Like right now, I'm on a journey, ladies and gents, to becoming the best trader I can become. Okay, like what I do right now, I try to master my psychology here. The skill set is very easy. I have the skill set of a trader, right? I know the mechanics of a trader. Very easy to attain. You know, honestly, I can teach I can teach people how to trade within a week. You know how to trade, but it's the psychology, the mindset, when to take the trade, when to exit, what stop loss to put on, where you put your TPs at. You know, all this stuff combined becomes very difficult day in, day out, and do this mechanically like a robot. That's what's hard, ladies and gentlemen. That's the hard part, right? The hard part is to turn up to the markets neutral, no emotion, no outcome really as well. Because when you, I mean, I'm personally speaking, but I've noticed if I go ahead, right, and I try and basically predict an outcome, so I say to myself, right, I want to make 5%, 10%, 20% on my account today. And if I stick to that, best believe, I believe myself, I have a higher probability of having a losing day. Why is that? It's because I'm predicting an outcome of a result I want, and I chase it. And that's what's wrong, I believe, right? That's why when you trade, you got to be so neutral, but you got to be in a limbo mode. And limbo mode is you got to like sit and just do what's right, take the trades in the correct way, do everything the same way, and don't change just because the market changed. Now, maybe after 20 or 30 trades you've done, if you lose all your trades, then yeah, reconsider what you're doing, because you're doing something wrong, right? But as time progresses, you'll realize that, you know, sometimes it's literally the ability to adapt and keep consistent that will create you a profitable trader or professional copycat, profitable copycat, which I am. No, I'm a professional copycat, you can say. But let me know, ladies and gents. Let me know if that makes sense to you. You know, the way I see the markets now. I see the markets very different to why I saw them a year ago. You know, I see them very different to why I see them 5 years ago. And remember, though I've been trading 7-8 years now of my life, it's only the last 12 months that I started to really dedicate time. Before, I think I was treating trading like a lottery ticket. You know, that, you know, I'm going to put this trade in. Oh, let me just bang this trade in, make loads of money. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm willing to take the risk. And you become then a gambler rather than a calculated risk taker. You know? Hopefully that makes sense for everyone viewing us right now, ladies and gents. Like I say, I'm very dedicated to what I do, hence why, you know, I really enjoy doing the lives. Though our live viewers have gone down by I mean, probably about 2,000%. Now, on before, whoever's the OGs, we used to get on average, the most I had on TikTok was 330 live lovely members watching me trade. But then TikTok obviously changed a little bit. I think they started to dislike what I'm doing. I think, you know, they see us trade and give out certain education. I think that they didn't like that. They restricted my life. So look, that's why on average now I get 6 to 10 views on TikTok. Am I discouraged? No, I keep going. That's why I implemented YouTube and Kick at the same time. You know, and again, my viewers have dropped a big amount, but I still turn up every single day. I show up. You know, though we took a massive hit on the live streams, you know, the members joining our free Telegram has slowed down for myself, but am I discouraged? No, I keep going, ladies and gents. Because I do the live streams, for me, it's just an extra. It's just something extra to do. It keeps me more accountable, you know, and also I'm able now to show people that wherever you are in your life, there's also another way. There's an addition to your life you can do. You know, everyone here, you can chat on the live like me. You can do that the same thing as me. You can go ahead and trade the same as me. You know, that's why I like doing these lives, because I connect with like-minded people, all different platforms, all different walks of life, and I really enjoy that aspect. You know, because it's actually people that make your life great. You know, it's yourself, it's how you perceive reality around you in your life, but it's also people, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I noticed. People actually make your life great. Imagine like playing a multiplayer game, and there's no one online. Like, have you ever played a game that's old and that has like literally no one is online? No one plays this game online anymore, right? You go on there, what's the feeling like? It feels empty, meaningless, doesn't it? It's the same thing as going out, I don't know, to the skate park, for example. Go to the skate park and there's no one there. You're just the only person there. Yeah, it's fun for a little bit. It's fun to ride your bike, your skateboard, whatever you do. And then it gets boring. You know, don't get me wrong, certain environments are favorable being empty. Like a gym. Like I love when the gym is empty and I can just crack on with myself. Boom, sick. But then after a certain amount of time, you might get discouraged going to the gym because there's no competition. There's no one to chat to, or you know, there's no one to like connect with. But it's the same thing in business and in trading. You know, trading by yourself, ladies and gents, is boring. Trading is a very boring thing to do. That's why jumping on a live like this is great to connect with like-minded individuals And it's good to basically go ahead, right, and chat, just do the trading thing together. That's why it's important to have the right group, you know, within your network. You know, trade with the right people, because, you know, then you get similar results as they do as well. See what I'm saying? So, ladies and gents, I'm telling you right now, have to go ahead and connect yourself with the right people. Otherwise, if you're around the wrong people, you might just go down the wrong route. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, a bit of wisdom for all of you here watching. Hopefully, I'm not waffling too much. And I'm just going on, you know, just trying to buy some time right now until we receive the next trade. I noticed now the trades, they come out, you know, from about 7 a.m. and then around 10, 11 a.m. we'll kind of receive another trade depending on the market condition. Again, we attract the trades, we don't chase. We're just gonna wait right now. We've been streaming already for an hour, 20 minutes. Also, how is the sound? Everything's all good, right? Everything's all good, I believe. As the youngers say it, everything's Gucci. Yeah? Perfect. Thank you very much. Lovely. Good to hear. Could have checked that an hour ago, to be fair. Oh yeah, bless me. Thank you very much. Hey, you got to be your own supporter sometimes, you know. Waiting, ladies and gents. Patience pays a lot of money in the game. Patient wait. Come out. Looking like it might be a sell. Still waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Still waiting. Let's see. Going to test your suggested method. Trade layering. Oh, no. 0.5. 0.05. Sure you don't make that mistake, because then you're risking half a lot on your trade. And if you've got $2 grand in your account, and that goes 100 pips against you, that's $500 drawdown. Right, so you don't want that. That's on one trade. If you make the mistake of doing that 3 times, you might blow your account and one trade. So make sure, yeah. Yeah, this is it, bro. So like let me break it down to you, yeah, for example, yeah. But let's say this is not an official trade. I'm just showing for an example, right? But for example, let's say we get a trade like right now for a sell, for example, yeah. Again, this is for example. No one take this, all right? Let's say it's a sell. So you enter one position here straight away, right? I go to the 1 minute. Okay, and then wait. And then you wait. You basically wait for this trade. So you entered at, 93.99, and boom, I would have entered another trade right there. Okay, one's at 93, one's at 94.3. Okay, then you wait. You wait. Then you want to see like 95 and 96, right? 95 and 96, and you keep the same stop loss. So for example, if you enter 93, generically speaking, it will be around 100 pip stop loss that trade. So 03, so 803, that's 100 pips. That, so I put like 02 for example, yeah. So 02. So that's the trade right now. So now you'd have had 2 entries now in, 2 in profit. Okay, right there you go. That would have been for 93. So 91, around 91 would have been your TP1. Okay, so you set that at TP1 at 91, for example, right? Both entries now are in profit. So you wait out for that TP1. As soon as that TP1 hits, you take that risk from 100 pips, right, or 80 pips, whatever it was, down to, for example, 50 or 40, depending on obviously what risk you had. So obviously on there it will say if it's obviously 1,000, that's 100 pips. That's 100.0, so that's 100 pips. And then right now this is 40.8. So you would have reduced your risk. And straight away, yeah, you might sometimes be able to put 2 trades in, sometimes 3. And again, most of the time, market will definitely enable you to enter at least 2 to 3 positions, right? On that market. So then you have the second trade. You want to run it to, let's say, TB3. TB3 generically would be around 50, 60, 70 pips. And then the second trade, you run that. And that wants to run. As soon as it hits that TB2, TB3, right, you reduce the risk in half again. From 40, 20 pips. Why I don't rush, sometimes you have a spike out, you have a fake out market. If I rush on TB1, right, if I rush to put this trade at break even, boom, I would have got spiked out right there at my break even point. Does that make sense? But because my risk is a bit higher, I have a higher probability for this trade to go up and then reverse back down in our favor. Hopefully that makes like sense for you. And if you do that, rinse and repeat, you will then see you can track what you do. And you want to do exactly the same thing every time you enter and every time you exit it. Same thing, in and out. Okay? So that's basically what I recommend. Because that's what I do. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. Depending on how we trade. Like, don't get me wrong, you can put 1 trade per 1 entry, but then you're always risking 100 pips. And more times than not, if you're going to be chasing, let's say, take profit 5, you're always, like, TV5 has a much lower percentage of hitting. You know? So yeah. No problem, bro. No problem, man. Anytime, man. What we're here for. Here for that. Cause yeah, like sometimes the one little single thing, and also, ladies and gents, I'll show you on YouTube, right? So, Mark Douglas. Disciplined trader, yeah, sorry. Way off there. Ladies and gents, you see this video here, right? I'm going to put this link in the bio. Be able to see. Do you like and subscribe, ladies and gents? See this, ladies and gents, right? This is trading, the guy who wrote Trading in the Zone, right? He also done another book called Disciplined Trader. And I'm telling you, that link is unreal. Like, it's a quick 20-minute video. It's basically the 5 simple, you know, summaries and steps of that book, Disciplined Trader. You want that? I put him in both chats on Kick, and won't allow me to do it on TikTok. Ladies, make sure you get inside of our VIP group. Open link in browser, and then you can go ahead and click whether Kick or YouTube, which one you prefer. Right? You see that? That is unbelievable, ladies. It is such a good 20-minute video. It explains this whole psychology of trading. You want that every night. You go before you go to sleep. You lay in your bed, right? You put headphones in, close your eyes, and you listen to that 20-minute video. Most of us fall asleep, but that's good, because what happens is when you go to bed, your subconscious mind goes into a state of mind. I believe it's called theta, and in that state of mind, you're able to learn and retain more knowledge. Same thing when you get up, listen to that tape. Do that consistently for a week. Honestly, ladies and gents, you know it almost word for word, right? Your subconscious mind will just click with things. And like I say, I've done this. It works. It might work for different people, a different amount of time. So maybe do it for a month, a year, whatever. But listen to it consistently. That 20-minute video is a summary of probably one of the best, one of the in the top 10 best written books about trading, right? Yeah. We are trading, bro. We are trading. We're trading, bro. Look at this up. Come on, bro. Don't be silly, bro. We're always trading, man. It's just on TikTok, ladies and gents. I've got my YouTube, my Kick, and then obviously got the professional setup all ready to go, bro. Make sure you go on my Telegram, okay? The link is in the bio. Be able to see YouTube and Kick. Because yeah, TikTok's getting ready. Really weird. Us like streaming and getting all this stuff. To be fair, I'm getting restricted anyway, so what the hell? Might as well just go anyway. But we'll see how it goes. But at the moment, like I said, we'll just take one trade, one win so far this morning. We are currently waiting for the next trade to come out. We've had obviously trading out on the other group. We've had a lot of so let's have a look. This morning we had target 1 on other group. Yeah, we had a few trades. Had another sell this morning. So yeah, so I'm personally, like I say, I'm sticking from last Friday, and the lesson I learned is just to stick to one group. Then, like, I prefer the gold standards because it's a little bit slower paced, but I can have a little bit more accurate trades. The second group that we have, the results are great as well, but it's much more faster paced. So I would probably be on that group if I wasn't live streaming, because then that gives me, you know, when I'm trading with gold standard group, I have more of a possibility to trade and then explain what I'm doing and teach as well, right? Rather than, you know, every like 15 minutes having a new trade come out. As we can see as well, we are literally waiting for the next trade. There's a couple of zones appearing here now for us. So if I'm honest, I was hoping for a rise to this fair value gap on a 5 minute and us enter on a sell. Yeah, get tired now. And us entering on a sell right there, but you can see the volume, it's gone very thin towards, you know, opening of the end of York poker session. So, you know, we have our high and low, so we're gonna try and ride at least one trade. Depending on the next one, we're gonna try, you know, do 3 trades on our next signal given, and then from that we are going to try and ride. Maybe I'll try even open 4 trades, just so that 4th one will ride to, you know, a round figure of like Asia high or Asia low. Preferably it's Asia low, really, because Asia low is a good amount of pips below. We are about, what, 400 pips away from that? 480 pips then on, yeah. And Asia high is only 210 pips. Oh, yeah, we rather get in a sell, write it down, but again, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. See how it goes, ladies. But yeah, we welcome. Yeah, definitely give that a watch. Whoever's on YouTube and Kick, you'll be able to see that link. I'll send it out. That is obviously to the YouTube video. If you want to study that video, watch it, and get a book. I've got a book myself. It's really good. Pretty good. Oh, I definitely recommend. Waiting. So market is retracing a little bit. Oh, wait. Big drop. And we're getting for a buy. Look. Gotta wait. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I can see a trade loading up there, but the trader at the moment is not panning out. So let's have a look what he's looking for. That is a bit of a sell-off. Oh yeah, man. We'll speak. Thing is, I'm losing. I don't say I'm losing my Polish, but I got to really think about what I say. Because if I go to Poland, I spend about a week or 2 weeks. Comes really quickly, yeah. But because I speak English, 99.9% of my life now, that 0.1% I speak to mum or my dad or another member of the family, I have to really think about what I'm saying. But. Yeah, born in Poland, I was raised in it. Oh, mate, Polish is difficult. So many, like, even the grammar of Polish. A couple of the things as well. Like, you notice in Poland, Polish language, we don't have a word for toes. Little toe, big toe. We just say finger foot. You notice that? Someone said that to me the other day, and I was like, "Hang on a minute, that's very true." Yeah, we'll say our finger foot. Crazy, isn't it? Hey, let's have a look. See it. I can see a trade loading up. Really, would have missed a sharp entry on that 85 level. So it's a little bit. Haven't entered yet. Of course, waiting now for. Waiting for. Go ahead from our trader, but I'm just seeing this loading up now, and I'm thinking maybe trades take. Waiting, ladies and waiting. Ready to come to. Yeah, like I said, look, I saw this trade, like, take it, of course, but went to the 4-hour support line there. That 84, and look, what would have been right now 50. But patient. As we trade them all, that's literally reality. Sometimes go in the market and you will basically go ahead and chase every position. The more times you enter, of course, the more times you expose yourself to having a loss, right? Yeah, that was a good trade there. That one. Oops. Oh, we're just waiting and see now, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies that the stream ain't as busy as usual today. We're again a little bit slow on everything, as obviously markets are just trying to stabilize themselves. But at the moment, obviously, one trade put in, one trade, one win. So hey ho, it is. We don't force stuff, do we? Big thing, nice, and no point of chasing as well. That's the main. This trade, ladies. Like I said, I can see a buy loading up. Saw it there, didn't take it. Now I'm regretting it. Now I'm like, shit. They're taking it right there. Look at that. I mean, what do we make? And right now we've been running 17. That's right. Wait for the next. This trade actually got shouted out by obviously this trade hub and other group. 189 did on target one. Today it's 420 today. Wow, 420, eh? Back in my old school age. Oh, for the 420 days, eh? Is doing 100 pips from where we would have entered, just to give myself more FOMO. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Like sometimes best to out than force the market. That's the thing now. Let's say, you know, from Friday's mistake, I can remember. Imagine when, for example, Friday I had a win, then I had a loss. I got impatient. I took a trade, got what I shouldn't have, but done really. Same scenario. And then the next trade, literally straight after I took it, there's another trade that happened. That was a win. But if I would have just waited, I would have not had that loss in straight away. So again, that's what I'm just teaching myself as well. You know, that patience game. Don't get me wrong, this was a beautiful trade right there. You know, 120 pips is what I've done for us. Because again, you know, see how important these 4-hour lines are. Look, that went perfectly to that 4-hour zone. Race back off that. Kind of an indication for us was there that the body of the candle didn't close below, like it did there. Of course, that's one indication that it wanted to go lower, but here, pretty much, no body closure, straight away rejection. Right, but it's also, again, you know, at least I didn't expose myself to risk. I actually got myself out of any risk. So I suppose looking at the positive side of things, I suppose that's, you know, that's not too bad either, is it? Having total, you know, risk-free rather than correct. So yeah, we wait for the next one. Wait for the next one. Like I say, I mean, looking at the market structure, really, like on a higher time frame. Massive rejection. What I'm trying to figure out here, I mean, like the bias really of the market. I mean, the thing is, the common sense would be to buy up gold. 2 reasons. One is because economy, everything, all the conflicts in the world, you know, gold naturally rises. But the common thing here, I would say as well, right, is there's a massive gap right now on the horizon, which is, the gap is massive. This is a fair value gap of 155 pips, right? And I think a lot of traders know this, of course, because common sense in trading, right? But a lot of them will be buying up gold, trying to catch the wave that will fulfill that gap, you know? Looking at it, to be fair, almost like it wants to go down still for me, to be fair. I don't know, just the way the market structure is here. We've had a little bit of consolidation, even on a half an hour chart. You can, I mean, it's consolidating really. There's no real movement. Obviously, the consolidation zone is quite big, but that's about 120 pips. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, if I'm honest, but we'll see. What? Patience is boring. Yeah, we'll just be waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely waiting. So far, I've just done 1 trade so far, 1 win inside the group. But we're up to 11 AM now, ladies and gents, and I think I'm personally going to jump on the stream. We're gonna have some breakfast, and judging by the market, I may come back on the stream. If not, then we'll just call it today as just 1 trade, 1 win. You know, I personally gained about 75 pips. Obviously, the last trade did 130 pips overall. So yeah, it's, you know, I saw a trade right there, but yeah, no point of trying to take it, just like to anyway. So, ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in today. Again, whoever's in the VIP group, make sure you are getting yourself in there. As obviously any more trades throughout the day are going to be sent out there. You know, they'll be part of that group. Like I say, there should be at least another 5 trades coming out, maybe another 3. Average, like I say, is between 4 to like 7 trades per day. Sometimes we have 10, sometimes 4, depending on the market structure. But I have a feeling that there's going to be another at least 3 to 5 trades sent out by the group. So you got your eyes there. Make sure on the next trade, some of you that have been taking notes and been taking knowledge, that you execute the trades correctly with the correct form, and obviously without hesitation as well. Layer up the trades, reduce risk as fast as possible, and then from that, of course, you're getting better and better at the trading game. I'll take my specs off now, and yeah, we are ready to rock and roll for the rest of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you very much for tuning in. Bye, and